Hello, everyone. I'd like to speak a bit about what's going on in the market right now. When I'm talking about the market, I'm not only talking about the stock market, of course. I'm talking about what's going on the market in general as far as job search is concerned and how it affects what's happening and different companies' ability to hire people. Well, obviously, everybody watched for several days how the stock market sell off lost us, something like $7 trillion. Obviously, retirement accounts were affected, individual investors lost money. We did have a pullback from Trump on the tariffs, not against China, but the damage has already been done. Bonds have been started selling like crazy. Nobody really wants to invest in United States anymore because we are too unpredictable. And yes, if there is a lot of bargain hunting, by all means, perhaps some people will come back, but we're not there yet. And case in point, the bottom has not been reached. Yesterday, a lot of people tried to buy a lot of stocks, and today we're pretty much giving all of that back. So again, whatever 3,500 points that Dow went up yesterday, right now it's down about half of that already. And that's in addition to the fact that 3,500 points that it gained back was not enough to compensate for all the points it lost over the first 3 days. There's been a lot of talking about accountability, insider trading possibilities by politicians, by Trump family. And yes, those things are certainly all real and they should be investigated and looked at. And yes, people should not be using insider trading to hurt the economy, to hurt others, and to make money for themselves. But that's a secondary point. The primary point is, once again, I want to go back to talking about the effect it has on our perception in the world. I remember when George Bush started the war in Iraq, Afghanistan people were willing to tolerate because of 9/11, despite the fact that there were a lot of collateral damage, a lot of innocent people were killed. But Iraq was kind of a different story, obviously, especially because weapons of mass destruction were never discovered, and that was the reason that Congress approved the war. And I traveled to Europe at the time, and people literally refused to speak to me because they saw I only spoke English, and obviously not the British English. Didn't have that accent. But that was okay. People just didn't like me because I represented something that they really did not like. Right now, people no longer have faith in us. Not only do they not have faith in our willingness and ability to defend them, just like we did a turnaround on Ukraine, for example, or at least attempted to do a full turnaround, while in fact it's only been a partial turnaround because Putin is not playing along with Trump, although Trump's willing to give him just about everything. It's the fact that financially, United States has always been a safe haven for investments, for money that we put into the economy, and for profits that we get out of it. And right now, with the sudden tariffs, it's no longer the situation. Now, a lot of people are saying that tariffs were calculated based on an erroneous formula, meaning that they looked at retail prices instead of actual prices paid by United States companies. That is also true, but I firmly believe that the reason it happened is because Donald Trump was certain that if he keeps those rates, then corporate earnings will be preserved despite costs going up. Of course, consumers would have to pay higher fees, but nonetheless, corporate earnings will be sky high. His donors will love it, and he will be painted as a financial mastermind. Instead of that, he had to retreat, and except for the fact that his ego was bruised, or so he claims, and because of that, China is now being hit by something like 150% tariff. And China has already retaliated with the 89% tariff, and I'm sure it's not going to stop. Apple is not going to move all iPhone manufacturing to India overnight. It's going to take a long time. Maybe some slack will be picked up, but once current inventory will start running out, guess what? Prices will definitely go up by quite a bit. But most calculations An iPhone made in China right now will be, instead of 12 to 1500 bucks, somewhere between 3,000 and $3,500. But again, that is all secondary. What is primary is uncertainty and lack of trust in our country. Canadians are already skipping trips to New York. Far less flights are coming into the US already from other countries. A lot of the purchases that foreign investors make in our real estate and other ventures, investments in startups and whatnot, have been paused. And this year was supposed to be the year of IPOs and M&As. Well, guess what? Mergers and acquisitions didn't happen. For some reason, Trump changed his mind about relaxing regulations on that, although he talks a lot about it. Well, not to examine that reason, but economic conditions certainly have changed, and he is choosing to fight the tariff war instead of build on the existing economy. Now, besides that, what does it mean for us here and now? Companies are not going to make decisions right now. Companies will need to be convinced to invest in us. When I say invest in us, meaning to hire somebody, right now a company has to have a really good reason. It's not enough to just we need to get something done. It's more like, well, I could spend an extra $300,000 to hire somebody, 150K base, benefits, cost of office, etc., taxes, about 300,000. I can spend it because I could make $2 million on profit on the results of this person's labor. But if I don't know what's going to happen, if I don't know if consumers will even buy my products or services because of higher tariffs and higher prices and inflation that will obviously go up in the next couple of months when the results of current events will start finally trickling down, then does it even make sense to invest in things? So everybody's holding right now. The 90-day pause on tariffs means that everybody's waiting for 90 days to make any decisions. Now, what that means is that the already challenging and difficult market is going to become even more challenging and even more difficult. Companies don't have an option to stop. They cannot just stop operating because even in 90 days, even if all the tariffs will kick in, we still need to make money. We still need to make profits. Companies still need to exist. Even if there is a recession, even if there is a depression, still, the Great Depression did not have 90% unemployment. It had something like 25% unemployment. Yes, terrible, but market conditions change a lot. The Great Recession of 2009 had far lower unemployment, obviously, and it didn't last as long. Yes, it's cost our country a lot of money in bailouts, but most of that money we made back nonetheless as companies repaid them, whether it's AIG or General Motors and a lot of other investments that the government made at the time to save the economy. So don't sit and wait for 90 days for something to happen, because most likely what will happen in 90 days is there will be more layoffs as pieces will get reshuffled, as conditions will change. There's going to be more canceled projects. It's going to be even more people to compete against looking for a job. Start looking for a job now, even if you were just thinking about it but weren't ready to move forward. Look for it now, because today's job search does take a lot longer than normal. And when I say normal, I mean anything from 2 weeks to 2 months, right? Right now, a prolonged job search means 6+ months. And I'm not talking about executives, I'm talking about regular people who usually would get offers within a week or two after putting the resume out there, at most a month. People who were especially picky maybe would take a little bit longer to find a job. But again, right now, those people are taking way longer than 6 months. And fast hiring process typically means not a day or two. When somebody loves your resume, immediately gets on the phone with you and makes an offer. But it means at least several weeks, and a lot of things can go wrong along the way. So be prepared. Do not delay making changes, because changes are being made without you, whether you're ready for it or not. Get ahead of it, be in control. Any questions, get in touch with me, as I'm happy to discuss your particular situation with you individually. Thank you.